Today, I want to talk about the idea that we are not self-improvement projects. And I'm very interested in sharing my perspective on this topic because for a long time, I fell for the self-improvement trap. I talked about this a little bit in a video that I'll share right up here, but self-improvement can definitely become a problem when we begin to bypass our own experience for peoples that we're reading about or watching on videos. For a long time, I was looking at life through the lens of somebody else, and I was doing that because I was reading stories and experiences of other people, and instead of seeing what was showing up for me in my life, I was looking for what they were telling me it looked like in their life. And so even though things might have been showing up for me, I wasn't seeing it because it didn't look like what I thought it should look like based on what people were telling me it should. But also wasn't looking to myself for answers and was constantly looking outside. That type of relationship with self-improvement is more toxic. So as I've seen that this was an issue for me, I have definitely improved and started to take back my own power and use self-improvement in a more constructive way. But I think there's a lot of people out here that fall for the trap of self-improvement. There's a certain point that you have to get to where you're okay with where you're at, even though I can still see this more ideal version over here. I'm gonna be okay right where I'm at for now and enjoy the journey instead of trying to constantly reach a new destination. Will we ever feel like enough is enough? I don't see anything wrong with wanting to improve in how you're showing up, but there's a thin line between healthy self-improvement and where we begin to feel we're not doing life right and constantly comparing ourselves to everybody who we are listening to and not just living in our own knowing. Toxic self-improvement can look like constant validation seeking. Instead of us knowing for ourselves, we're constantly looking outward when nobody has that answer for sure but us. Toxic self-improvement can lead us into a comparison trap. When we're looking at somebody else's experience and they're showing us where they are now after they've arrived, but not telling us the ins and the outs of how they finally got to where they are, then we begin to compare our imperfect lives to a perfect version that they're showing us now. Then we can start feeling down on ourselves. There's a never-ending sea of tactics, techniques, and hacks for being a better person and living a better life. And if we are constantly going down that rabbit hole and never being able to be okay where we are, that can be mentally draining and detrimental. So we have to have goals and have a point that we're just gonna be okay. I would constantly be reading a book, audiobooks, whatever. And even though I was learning so much stuff and so many ideas, the truth is a lot of it I learned and didn't implement. So it was really just another form of procrastination. If we're not taking action, there's really no purpose in continuing to seek self-improvement. There is a healthy amount of dissatisfaction to help us continue to strive to be better and meet our goals and be more successful. It's important to balance that with satisfaction though. Ways to avoid falling into the self-improvement trap. The first one is to consult yourself first, and then look and see what everybody else has to say about it and see if what you've been drawn to listen to aligns with what you had already thought. The next thing that you can do to make sure that your self-improvement journey doesn't turn toxic is know that other people's experience does not have to be yours, and don't bypass what's showing up for you because it doesn't look like what somebody else said it looked like for them. Be sure to consume in moderation and don't get caught in the hamster wheel of constantly seeking without taking action. And lastly is avoid trying to be perfect. Don't expect yourself to be superhuman by having unrealistic, unnecessarily high expectations of yourself. It takes time to break habits or implement new ones. So be patient with yourself and know that it's a journey. It took you a long time to get to where you're at, and the fact that you want to change something it might take some time. So be patient and recognize when you're showing improvement. Celebrate your small wins. Take the time to learn the red flags and be proactive in making sure you don't fall victim to self-improvement. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out this one, and I'll see you there. Peace.